We ready. We ready. We ready to go live. Well, we are now, but we ready.
This is how this nigga
Okay.
chooses to introduce us.
Welcome. Hey, you gotta have some sort of um, intro for this type of things, you know. But hey, welcome all, welcome all, welcome all, welcome all to another episode on the popular, well, soon to be popular episode. We haven't believed in that this year. Um, youth program show called Youth Up to My Podcast. My name is Jabani Danvers. I'm your host today, and with my co-host,
Glenville Dixon.
yes sir, yes sir. Now, Ben, you got a quote for us before we start.
Yeah.
Let's kind of set in the mood. You understand?
But yeah, before I get into
And
that, right?
and
I need to explain to you guys the reason that it took so long before I put on the voices. Boss, when your band started doing the drumming thing, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? We're about to start. We're about to start. Stop it. And then I started and he does the same thing and I'm like, oh, you wanted to start it like this. Oh,
of
oh.
course.
I was like, how are we gonna do this? You check? But let's jump in. So for the
Yeah.
quotes today, it is there are
Mm.
no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. Both poverty and riches are the offspring of thought by Napoleon Hill.
Boy, I swear, when I saw this, it speaked so at so many levels. One, it indicates the world we live in today. How everyone is in action. Everyone is no, everyone is a thought in a sense. If you realize, everyone has their own perspective. One,
For a
if you cannot,
second there,
if you get
I was gonna say smoke some weed little while before you made those statements, you check. Anyone else listening will say, nah, ta. This nigga just smoke too much weed before you come on the show. You check?
brother. But either way, forget about the topic. But yeah, for, I really love this because it gives of a stricter message for people to have more perspective to their having individual mindsets,
Mm-hmm.
being very unique, being outspoken, just being their own person. I really like it for that reason. There's many reasons, but all that can be in this 45 minutes. So I'm gonna ask you, Glenn. What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on this quote, bro?
There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. I think that's really true because realistically speak, right? From like the friends I've had to the people I've met to different psychological and mental states and so on and so forth, a lot of the time we tend to put limits on ourselves as a way to, let's say, understand what's going on in the world around us. You check, some people can limit themselves in a positive way. You check, so you can only limit yourself to success, for instance. Like, oh, if I start this, then I'm definitely gonna end it. I can't. There's no room in my mind for doubt. You check, but then you also have the opposite effect. People can literally create an entire world while my lovely little dog is barking. Right? People can literally create an entire world centered around the fact that they're a failure. You check? And then you limit it to yourself. Well, um, I'm too lazy. I can't learn to sew. I can't learn to do carpentry. I can't learn how to do web design or this. Why not? Oh, I'm just not that person. I'll never been able to do anything. I'll never will. And you create those limitations and locks on yourself. And to say the least, that creates a lot of problems. There are ways it can be done healthily, but I just see way too much people limiting themselves for negative reasons that doesn't actually provide any value to them.
Mm. With that being said, why should you build your mindset? Why should someone build themselves to a point where it's they're comfortable of being uncomfortable? Why do you think it's a good thing to have like a decent constructive mindset?
Well, I mean, it's a very is we first need to understand what do you mean by mindsets
Which is
specifically.
so broad.
You check. It's such a broad term, right? And that's why I was okay with the script because, guys, by the way, we are scripted. You check. You know, what?
Mhm.
And that's why I didn't mind the script because they're very in general questions, so you get the chance of like putting them down and explaining it as we're getting the questions, so that we can better convey our thoughts to the audience. So
Mhm.
by build your mindset, I'm guessing what you mean is our individual perspectives of, let's say, life or reality. Why should you build that? Why should you gain knowledge or learn new things or understand more about the world? You check? And like, if that's the question, I mean, it kind of answers itself. I mean, knowledge is power. If I was to ever be known for a quote, I would like it to be for that. Knowledge is power. You check? From the politicians all the way down to the poorest person, knowledge is power. Knowledge can either knowledge and lack of it can either make you the most powerful person in the world or the most destitute of them. And a part of building your mindset is going through different experiences and challenges, right? That allow you to learn different traits about yourself and traits that you can provide to other people that can provide actual value. Not only to yourself, but to the people around you. Building your mindset, and you might mention it as well. You'd want to build your mindset so that comfortability isn't a matter of where you are, what you're doing, but what you say, okay, cool, I'm going to do this next. Your comfortability becomes you, not the things that are around you. You check? So you have much more freedom. Like, say, for example, videography. You check? Comfortability is like that one guy that says all I'm good for is making YouTube videos. I've only been able to get people that can create little YouTube videos and stuff for him, right? That's what comfort is, and that's all you know, and that's all you're sticking to. You're not expanding into anything else of your own volition. Changing the mindset in that context then would be like you say, you know what? I've learned a few things. I can move a little forward. Let me go work on a small little show and then expand from there and then take the lessons I've learned from there to build your own mentality and confidence so then you can move forward and do different things. You check? So it's no longer about
Mhm.
comfort to an extent now. It's just about, well, where do you see yourself? You check? And then we go back to the quote. The only limitation is you, really and truly. You check? Those That's some of the reasons I think people should build their mindset. And people that are watching can pretty much figure out any other number of reasons why it's beneficial to build your mindset. What do you think,
That's
Ibani?
actually the next question. That's actually like the next thing of the advantages of why you should develop it. Honestly, right?
Mm-hmm.
In building a mindset, build your mindset, I say scale. If you get what I'm saying. I
Mm-hmm.
think specific mind type of mind trumps everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's goes with mindset for success, mindset for productivity,
Mm-hmm.
mindset for efficiency. Just I while you were talking there, kind of springed up in my mind. It's like ability to scale.
Yeah.
It's actually it's actually funny. I actually thought about that phrase like maybe a couple weeks ago because while we were doing this whole thing, we're doing business and everything else, developing everything from the ground up. One thing that I said, that well, I said to myself for this year is I want to elevate my mind to scale, elevate my mind to have no fear, to put no personal setbacks, and just press forward and do what you need to do because if you're going to limit yourself, it's not going to help you. And limiting yourself literally just stagnates your entire process of a person. It's almost there. It's literally the reason why you have the little small children that don't really go out as much. Never really
Mm-hmm.
had no character development. Haven't really been talking to girls. Haven't really been, you know, in, but haven't really been having that interpersonal skills met. You know, pour into and then teach. That's why you have the you call it the persons that just stay home and do nothing
Mm-hmm.
and just fear everything and just be shy because all of that in work things that should have been dealt with and been practiced at a young age. This is almost something that we're going to go into a little bit later. Um, Going to do it, yeah, doing this all of it in a young age and everything. Building that, it's literally, sorry, it's literally will help you. Literally will build you where you need to go and your destiny. Understand?
Yeah.
But I would ask, what type of personalities do you reckon have that type of mentality?
The mentality to grow
Hmm.
or to like develop as a person.
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
know. I
What is
think
that type of person? You-
I think all people are able to develop. I think all people have the capacity to achieve greatness inherently. You check? The just because there are different obstacles and door problems in our way doesn't mean that you're not able to achieve it given you put in the right work. But then success is subjective, you check? My idea of success would be having a big corporate company, not corporate really, but like a big company that provides value to people and I work with all these people day to day and I'm like enjoying life. To another person, success could just be having a family. Well, success could just be having a nice little stable job. You feel nice and sufficient and you're doing your thing, but you also get to go out with your friends and drink and lime and all that kind of stuff and just enjoy your life. So I'm like, the personality traits does make it more or less difficult because, for example, someone that has a really high um, amount of extroverted extrovertedness, yeah, will probably be more likely to succeed just because we live in a social world where we have to interact with people to get to places and so on and so forth. Versus like an introverted person who doesn't really want to talk to people. You check? It'll be harder, but it doesn't make it impossible. The reason I say it's not
Thank you.
impossible for all personality types is because of the first question, the ability to build your mindset and why you should do it. Doing that bridges the gap between impossibility and possibility and makes it something that can be, realistic.
Mm.
And then once it's
So one thing
realistic
I
now,
want
mm,
one thing I want to introduce in this is also the environment
yeah,
in and your social circle.
mm-hmm,
Because I believe and I truly believe this, if you put yourself around persons that doesn't have the ability to scale or grow, you're not going to grow. If you are, you will do that alone. Yeah, you will deal with all the, you know, the pains and the struggles alone.
It's true.
It's something that I know everybody doesn't want to have, but it's going to have a time because, like, I went through that. I like literally, it's almost the reason why I don't have any friends like that. I'm not shy to say that. I don't really have much friends like that. Literally, me and Glenn have been at each other's side for the past 2 years, growing this whole thing from the bottom up, we do many businesses, many things, just doing a bunch of dope shit.
Yeah, it's been a while,
And
hasn't it?
it's been a while, and I can only I could have only done that if I have put myself in different situations. And it's very interesting of how my life turned to where we're at now. It's like
Oh, wait,
even
could now possibly
like
be.
I can literally set oh, no, I can literally set a roadmap. I can literally just say out the roadmap of how I'm literally here. Literally, I can literally say it out loud. It's so interesting of how I started. Let me go into it now
No,
then. Since,
no.
since
We're
people
not
gonna
going
have
into it now.
yeah,
We'll leave them in
running
suspense.
yeah.
You check? No. They're not going to reveal our entire backstory.
You'll have that for next time.
Next time.
Because remember we were supposed to talk about the time we got we got stolen from well, well not stolen from but scammed
Later.
from.
Later down.
Those stories will come very soon.
You
Very
know what
soon.
you're talking about.
But
Talk about that later. There'll come a time where that story must be told, but it is not
but
tonight. Is not that time,
yes.
right?
But
But I, I, I just wanted to jump back.
the YOTP version of story time is gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice.
Nice. I just wanted
But
to jump back to
let's
what I
jump
was
back.
saying earlier. I
Um
believe I had stopped off when it comes to, you know, if you're able to develop a mindset, you're able to make something a reality, right? And it's just as Ibani says, right? If you're in an environment that reinforces you not being able to get what you want, or not being able to achieve what you want, then you probably shouldn't be in that environment in the first place. You check? And it really does lend to the idea that you'll end up subconsciously limiting yourself because of the people that are around you. It happens a lot. It happened to me. You check? I had imposter syndrome for a while. Um, it's less of a thing now, but the movements. I have a much better support group around me now, and I can be like, bam, these are the people I can scale, I can reach somewhere. The worst thing, the worst type of person to be is, well, there are two worst types of people. The type of person that stagnates another person and prevents them from growing, and another person who prevents other people from allowing them to achieve their dream or their goal. You check? I think those two are like unforgivable. One of them, you can't forgive the other person, but
yes.
the other one, you can't forgive yourself. You check? And you can't just use comfortability or, oh, we've been friends for like 15 years. Oh, this person has been by my side for however.
Um,
But I'm like, do
I
you
never understood
want.
that logic, honestly.
But I'm like, this is the logic, right? If
Yes.
that's the case and you're okay with it, then you should be content with the life that you're living now with this person. If you're not content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even, let me
You should
make it
be
even better, right?
content with where you at now and
No, no, because people
all
can
the BS that
become,
you have to go with.
some people can become not content, but they have everything. You check? So I think that's an unreasonable thing to say. If you're not genuinely happy and okay with the situation that you're in, you check, and you can't begin the action of moving yourself from that to get into a better scenario, then you're just losing out on yourself right now. You're literally failing yourself based on your opinion of success and what your opinion of what you think you need to do to become successful or become comfortable or enjoy life, you're failing yourself. You check? And I put a lot of emphasis on you because other people watching you and saying, oh, you should do this and you should do that. Now study them. Study about what you want to do and evaluate what makes you happy. That's a part of building your mindset and character development. You check? Figuring out what makes you happy, not what makes other people happy. Because it's not all the time what makes another person happy makes you happy as well. You check? There's some very mean people in this world. But saying that now,
Devil is just well,
it looks like we might have to go on a break.
yeah. We spend so much time on this. Like, oh man.
Yeah, we're already over past one, so part two is next. Let's jump into a
So,
break, see?
ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
After this. Well, guys, I'd just like to introduce our lovely two sponsors for this podcast. Oh, I love these guys so much. I might cry. Well, let me introduce you guys to these two companies who proudly sponsor this podcast. We have OCO Media and Entertainment, an up-and-coming conglomerate focusing on media, entertainment, and making every single one of you smile. OCO will be coming out on behalf of the TZFI Corporation, and you'll see more updates from Youth of Tomorrow and their social medias as well. Just go into OCO on Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Even throw it into Google. And next, we have Technologically Zealous Family, bringing value to you. Technologically Zealous Family is a corporate agency that is now diverging into various different services, and the sub department of this would be Silver Tree Agencies, which is what I want to talk about today. Silver Tree Agencies deals in web development, graphic design, branding, and consulting, and has perfect packages to fit your specific needs as a client or organization or client, and offers the best experience with a combination of expertise, knowledge, and not to mention, I'm gonna forget to mention, value. In order to find us at Technologies as Family, throw our name into Google or check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Behance, you name it, and LinkedIn as well. Our website is currently going for redesign as of the publishing of this podcast. So by the time you guys may be watching, it may be out. We have the old website up as it stands now, but it is getting a huge makeover. So you'll be one of the few people who actually see the old website as it is. Saying it again, Technologically Zealous Family, TZFI. Visit our website directly at tzfi.page. Okay, and we're back.
We back, boys. We back, boys.
Right?
We back, boys.
And let's jump right back into it, right? So I'm gonna ask this to your Barney this time, right? So,
Okay, talk to me.
my brother. Is motivational content worth it?
Blah, blah, blah. It's basically what. Okay. It's worth it for short term motivation. Like, that's literally what it is. Like, it's the Eric Thompson's, the what you call it? It's Eric Thompson said, right? Yeah. Eric Thomas, the Gary V's, the Grant
No, no, no.
Cardone,
I'm not talking about
the
the Gary V's and Grant. Get them out. Get them out. Stop. Bad publicity. We're bringing in the Jordan Petersons and I want to talk about Ben Shapiro to be honest, but yeah,
he makes it
just the
this.
bench, just Jordan Peterson. That's it.
You know the people
Just them.
the main people that you know that I would just say that Eric Thomas for real because he's been in this whole motivational speaking thing
Yeah,
for a
he's
lot
fine.
of years, and I've listened to him in the past, and I actually like him.
Yeah.
He ain't bad, especially how he speaks. He's very strong. Like yeah, like you really get to what he's saying. It's just also even with Jordan Peterson, he has a
He's a great education.
decent speech pattern. I really like it. These people are just great communicators. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
But honestly, right, the
Oh,
whole thing with the
actually,
visual
we
content
should
thing.
let's break it up. Let's break it up into a couple of questions actually, because is motivational content worth it? You said yes, right? But only in the short term.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What about good versus bad motivational content? What would we outline those as? What's the difference? You check? Because let me give a little pretense. I a year and a half ago, I think, I watched a video. I can't remember the name of the YouTuber, but I remember the content, which is a part of how I think about things. And the I don't really want to go over the entire YouTube video, but basically, the crux of it is motivational content can be damaging because the act of watching motivational content creates this kind of delusion in your head, so you think that you're being productive when in reality you're not. You
No.
check? And that's a big problem.
Hmm.
So with that with that as the
Actually,
pretense, right?
almost actually
With that as the
actually goes to
pretense.
the next thing.
Yeah, exactly. Can it be too much? Right?
But
And it goes like breaking it up. What's the what's an aspect of good and bad motivational content? Yeah, check. Before we go to can it be too much? Like what do you think? What's the difference between good and bad motivational content?
in anything, something has to make you think.
Something that makes you think.
People's words, it makes you think. People's words,
Mhm.
if it hits hard, it makes you think.
Mhm.
That's the difference. If it makes you think, then it's constructive.
Mhm.
If it's giving you bursts of energy, then no, that's bad. Let me explain more. Let me explain more. There's the difference between there's the difference between when someone's speaking some different aspects of life that really gets you thinking, makes you just think, to speak to yourself, to understand things more. That's motivation to me. Motivation is being elevated to another level in thought and how words in the mind conveys reality. So if I'm getting my motivation from Jordan Peterson, he makes me think. He makes me, you know, delve in myself and push myself constructively, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Where, where I go wrong is the Eric Thomas, maybe sometimes, that, you have, well, I won't say Eric Thomas directly, but those motivational speakers that just say some basic stuff and it just gives you just a false sense of reality. Like oh, you can reach the stars, you can reach for the mountains, but your motivation is realistic.
Hmm.
The real motivation is realistic. You get what I'm saying?
That reminds me of the videos that I used to see when my friends watch, where they'd be like, you can achieve anything, you can become successful. All you need to do is you need to start. Once you're able to start, you can move forward and all these kind of stuff and so on and so forth. And I'm just like,
Robert Kiyosaki.
to a point, to a point, it's useful, but beyond that point, it just diminishes. You check? Because then it builds a habit. You check? And I have a problem. Originally, I asked you the question between good and bad because I wanted to be devil's advocate. But I agree with what you're saying. So I just want to add on this. My problem with motivational stuff, and I have a problem with it. I do have a problem with it. My biggest problem with it is the fact that, well, most of it is useless. You check? The majority of it goes on surface level details that just serves to make you feel as if you're doing something. You may go out and do a little something, and then that's it. That's just it. You check? And then you go back to it and it becomes habit. That serves no one but to put money into the pockets of the people that make these videos. You check? And those videos get tons of ad revenue now. They're like really loved by advertisers. You check? So I'm like, cool. That's what I think would be bad. What I think would be good, you check? What I think would be good is what Jordan Peterson does. You check? Jordan Peterson or Ordinary Healthy Gamer. He's a psychologist as well, but he deals with like gamer, like young people related issues and so on and so forth. And even I've been preached sometimes. If you guys know that YouTube channel, then make up to you all, you check? But I'm like, what these guys do, they don't just say, you can achieve this, you can achieve that, go and do it, da 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 da. They focus on specific topics, and their aim is to try and educate you through their opinions and their experiences. You check? Because realistically, people that are looking for like motivational advice, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't have a clue. Most people don't even know where to start. I know someone that they didn't even know where to start. You check? People go to motivational videos, and I think that the point is to, one, educate them, two, show them the direction they need to go, and three, encourage them to do so. Right? A lot of motivational videos only does the third thing. Right? Maybe the first, right? But then maybe the second actually. But they don't educate. Where's the education bit? Right? And that's why I like Jordan Peterson. If he has a thought, he explains that, right? Very deeply. And I'm not talking about like his views on political scenes and so on and so forth. I'm talking about strictly the psychology of different things and the way he explains them, right? Like his courses for college that he has recorded on YouTube and so on and so forth. I'm talking about those, right? The things he says make sense, and then he explains them in a way, while he does use big words, as some people might say, once you get a handle of his speech pattern, you can pretty much interpret and understand what he's saying, and through that as well, you can learn some new words. You can get educated, expand your vocabulary, and then move forward with a better understanding of different things you may not have thought about before. That is a perfect example of proper motivational topics. Because motivation should never be just limited to a YouTube video with some dramatic music in the background, people saying, do this, do that, you can achieve your dreams and anything. Motivation is found everywhere.
Don't try America! Look at point your answer! Don't do it! Like, what?
Right? Motivation is found everywhere. You know how much YouTube videos I watch personally, right? And I always check the comments for every one of of the YouTube videos I watch, except recently because I deleted YouTube. So I have like YouTube base, which doesn't have comments like that, which is annoying. But every time I go into the comments for certain videos, like say a Jake Tran video, or like an entertainer, like GT Live or something like that, they always say, guys, your entertainment and stuff has been so impactful to me. It really helped me through some tough times and things that I was going through. You guys motivated me to do better. You check? Motivation isn't just through motivational videos. You can find it anywhere.
Yes.
You check? So I think
Yes.
this now goes
So
into the
it's
question
like having
of,
that
can it be
it
too
actually
much?
goes into, well, it's, I want to make a correlation to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's when a photographer sees a small little
Let me write
thing,
this down.
but look, yeah, this goes in depth,
Yeah,
but
so what is
it's the when it's like a photographer, and all my photographer people out there, you know what I'm talking about. You see something that some people might not even see as anything, but you just look at it for a bit and say, this can make a great photo. Then you put your camera to it, and as you see it through the preview window, you say, "Oh, ooh," and you snap the picture from there. And bam, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just had to put that one in. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I get what you're saying, I get what
But
you're saying.
honestly, but for real,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So let's get down to it. This is already late in the night and everything. So
But
now, the next question is
mm-hmm.
healthy ways to maintain this. Now, this might go a bit broad, but stay put, everybody. Now, healthy ways in maintaining a form of motivation. Now, it all goes on to
So when it comes to, can it be too much and healthy ways to maintain it? You check? So yeah, what were you saying about him?
as I said now, and everything goes with this whole thing of building the mindset, the motivation, the food for thought aspects of things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the so-called motivation and building your mindset as a whole. So, in anything, as I said before, is anything you have to have something that impacts something in you to make you think,
Yeah.
to question things, to make you wonder and build upon it, build upon. That's where you have healthy development and it leads to healthy maintainership because you can differentiate because if you remain in a certain bubble of the type of motivation that you input and you can differentiate what's not the real thing. Denver in the background just coughing for no reason. Dog. We all can hear you, sir. The bloopers is gonna be so nice. But anyways, as I was saying, the yeah, in maintaining yourself. Now, as I said, maintaining yourself in a certain light of motivation in building upon your questions of life, business, everything, to the point when you differentiate the outside noise of the prosperity version of motivation. The oh, you can reach the higher heights, blah blah blah. Do this today, blah blah blah, but doesn't have any constructive steps,
Mm-hmm.
any sort of experience based thoughts on something like as we said Jordan Peterson, the
Mm-hmm.
average
Mm-hmm.
preachers and everything who gives you their perspective because they've went through a lot of stuff in their tenure and give up themselves again, give up their opinions and everything. So I believe thought is something they can use to maintain it. What's your thoughts on that? Using thought.
Using thought provocative content as a way to maintain it healthily. So only watching content that actually provides development for you as a person. Motiv- if the target is motivation, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Motivation can be found in any number of ways. People can literally watch a video about learning how to do something and find it motivational because they're learning to do something, or like expand their boundaries, or like learn a skill and stuff like that. So,
That's called the mind,
mm-hmm,
building a mindset to actually go ahead and do it.
right? It's all about
It's
reinforcing the habit.
literally, it's actually literally what the prosperity motivational speakers do, but they miss the educational part.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's okay. Let me give one actually on my own for like a healthy way to maintain it, right? It may sound like a lot of work, but if you do it, it'll be very important for you long term. And don't mind the dog barking in the background if you can actually hear it, right?
We
So,
all love the dogs.
what you could do is get a book or open OneNote or take out your sticky notes or just open a regular text file and type in the things that you want to learn, the things you want to do in 5 years. Let's give it 5 years, right? And then from there, set up your YouTube in such a way. Jack, I do this. I have an email address for work, and I have my personal email address. My personal email address is for like raw trippiness, and then the work email address has all my, let's say, learning stuff, learning activities. The main company YouTube channel also has pure educational content on it for the most part, from economics to business development to tips and tricks and so on and so forth. All kinds of things in there, right? You can actually change your YouTube algorithm if you custom search for certain things and you just watch that content. YouTube will learn, and this is what I did for like, well, I don't use my personal accounts anymore. I use my business account, right? So it's learned that's cool. So in the mornings, I will recommend Glenville business content and this and that and that and this. But then I also know when it comes down into the evening and so on and so forth, once in a while, Glenville wants to watch a video of Grace Still Plays or maybe Local and some Aberrant Preach check once in a while, and maybe throwing some economics explain videos once in a while check, and then it does that, and it literally learns it. No, you can teach it to do that. So then, when you want to learn something proper, you just look into your YouTube feed, and it shows you an update, so you can better increase your skills. Like for example, Yabani, remember when I told you that every time I open YouTube on the work computer, all it shows me is stuff for like Blender and so on and so forth. Literally, it gives me tips and tricks for like Blender, tips and tricks for like web design and development and all that kind of stuff there. That's all that's on it. Literally all. That is it. You can customize your YouTube to fit you. If you want to include a way for you to not only have entertainment that is just nonsensical, but also something that'll develop you. But at the exact same time, it's not going to be like those motivational type of things that don't educate you. They just encourage you and tell you, well, this is a rough estimate of what you need to do. You actually get to watch videos that show you step by step where you need to go and the things you need to do and the things you need to get to. YouTube is an amazing platform. You can use that to your advantage. That's a way to maintain it. And then once you get used to it and you're habitualized to it, you'll never have to worry about it again. It'll just become a part of you. You check? That's what I did. Right? That's my solution to it. And then
People to delete their search, their watch history.
yeah, like literally. I wouldn't do it because if I had to go back on all the things I used to watch on a regular on YouTube, I deleted YouTube because it takes too much time. It literally takes too much time. YouTube got way too good at knowing what I want to watch. Way too good, so I just deleted it. You check? So I can get more internal control. And, you know, it's helped quite a bit. You could also do that. If you're like on TikTok all the time and you're just scrolling through on all these meaningless posts or motivational content, you could just delete it.
Oh,
Check? You could
so
just delete it. Shh. You could just delete it. You check? I'm smiling right now. You could just delete it. You understand? And that'll help you greatly because with that
pretty
void,
much, yeah.
you can then fill it with better habits that can actually get you to your goal. But first, you have to outline your goals. You check? And then from there, you can slowly build and develop it so you don't get something like imposter syndrome. Which, Barney, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Yeah. No. Fear of imposter syndrome. Oh, I believe, Glenn, you had noted this earlier in the podcast of having imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
What was that mindset for you at that time? Actually, we can. What was that mindset? Where would you see you have imposter syndrome? We hear your experience with this.
My experience with imposter syndrome was interesting, to say the least. Like,
What was
with some pretense, I operate life based on this fact. Knowledge is power, as I've said earlier, right? If I know something and I can train to do it adequately enough, then bam, you check. And by that logic, I should be able to do anything I put my mind towards and then succeed at it, right? So for me, my problem was I never got imposter syndrome for learning skills. I got imposter syndrome for like my future self. You check? Because I'm also a person with like dramatically large ambitions, and I part of my imposter syndrome in a sense is my overly large ambitions crushing me with its force, and it's something I had to go through when I was starting the company and I was doing this and I was doing that. I even had to have a meeting with like all the employees at the time and like explain, well, yo, this is what was going on with me, this is what was happening, and this is why my productivity specifically would have been so low, right? It's like you reach to a level where you could then break through and then start developing really quickly. But there's always a barrier. There's always this one barrier, Chuck. And like when you pass that barrier, you're on a different level completely. Imposter syndrome is like
no good
you
shyness?
you reach the barrier and you're looking at it and you're saying, I don't deserve to pass this barrier. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's what I had to deal with. And then usually what would end up happening is I'd retreat into my little cave, which is usually YouTube, and I'd watch educational content. Not like motivational content, but educational content, right? And I would just stagnate myself on purpose, but like not on purpose, because I never wanted to cross the barrier. You check? And one day I had to like come to terms with it and be like, okay, cool. You have this idea that, and it's subconscious now. It's not like I actively think it day in day out. It's just a automatic reflex. You check. So it's not to that degree, but it's like an automatic reflex. It's like, okay, cool. You have this reflex whenever you get to this point. And after this point, there's no return, right? What are the things that are holding you back? No. And is it worth stopping your progress? And I had to like sit down and evaluate that for myself and put everything together. And I was able to like put two and two together subconsciously and actively like, no, not really. I can achieve it. It is possible. The only thing that's really stopping me is myself and what I think is the upper limits of what my environment wants from me. You check? I'm just like, yeah, that's stupid. Let's get past that. And then it just moves forward. You check? It was a long path. It was a long process. It's not like it was an instantaneous thing. You check? Because even when I told the employees and stuff, I was still going through it, but I was aware of it. So I need to be held accountable. That's also what I do at times. And then slowly but surely, I was able to like overcome it and then move forward and start doing things. That's what I had to deal with when it came to imposter syndrome. And I think it can happen to anyone. Really and truly, it can happen to
It
anyone.
happened to me so much. It have
Right?
happened to me such for such a long time,
And
honestly.
I know
Like
Iban, you had to deal with it for a while. A while. But I had to deal
why?
with it way longer than me. I only started to deal with
Yeah.
it once I saw the barrier and you pass it and life will not be the same. Yabani had different things all holding him back, right? And we were there to support one another so that we could get past these barriers and the things that are holding us back so we could reach where we are now. It's just par for the
Yes.
course, really. But that's a part of character development and that's a part of, you know, improving your mindset. You check? If you can get past that barrier and you can look forward without a need to crawl back, then
Mm-hmm.
what's really out there to stop you? You check?
Mm-hmm.
That's my
For
2 cents.
me, for me, where can I even go with this? Like, I can go so deep. Now, when I was a little jit, was a little guy, I had the environment of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, blah blah blah. My father has been doing his kind of thing now for like over 15 years now. Yeah, almost 15 years now. And my mom doing her little hustling and everything, doing her own business things, her own business endeavors. So I grew up in that mindset. It's just that the environment, which might be time that I have to put in, the the psychological setbacks that I put on myself, the times when I have an idea where I want to go, but I don't know where, like how to go there, and so I just stay, you know, in a place that I just never wanted to do anything until I went in. Well, when I went through the process in getting where I am today, it actually goes into the same story that I want to um tell you guys and how I got to here,
Mm-hmm.
like
Don't go too
really
deep.
started to heal. A little overview is basically into a entrepreneurship camp. I think we both noted that we both were in this entrepreneurship camp in Antigua called
Mm-hmm.
call it the youth youth lead, right? Yeah, youth lead. Shout out to France. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to France. Basically, been put through that process, learning a bit more entrepreneurship. Then went to radio entertainment. Then from radio entertainment, had an idea of doing something. Into Glenn and say, "Yo, we can do this," and then introduce me to a different thing, and then have a whole process 2 year going on 2 years now process in actually going through everything.
Yeah.
And now, d- when we literally just did a movie not too long ago, literally pushing myself to limits that I never knew I could go. I had the mind, I knew I could go, but I just never knew I could do it because it was something that was holding me back. I don't know if it was having the mindset of what I wanted to be in the future stagnates myself for not building that now, which is something that now I'm doing. So I'm going through my classes, doing this and that, now doing this whole thing for 2 years. It all goes into where I want to go in the future. And everything that we're going to be planning in the future, Glenn, we, yeah, it all goes into it. And eventually, I have to break out of it. And it's not an easy thing. It's
Yeah.
not like I pinpoint something. It's not like I actually pinpoint something to say, okay, I have this, okay, because of this. And it's literally just stumble upon the problem, and then eventually it just went away. Just went away.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm doing a lot of stuff. Hence why we have this podcast. Actually, the intro and break stuff are made by me. Just a little, just a little plug right there. But yeah, I never knew I could do that. I never really knew I could do that until I broke out of that thing, and I still have a bit of pieces of that imposter syndrome today. But it doesn't stagnate me too much to the point where I just stop. I just stop doing it and just don't want to do anything anymore. Like right now, Glenn literally tells me when to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
Yeah, happens a few times. Like literally, I'll literally be working the night, just working, just working. A man say, "Hey, good night, blah blah blah," and then I say, "Yeah, man, we just finish up a little work here."
I'm over
My
like,
man will say, "Wait, it's 12 and then that what what?
what are you doing?
Sorry about. Go to sleep, bro. Go to sleep down." Like it happened a few times already. So I just know that I have that energy right there to unlock whenever I'm ready. But yeah, as I said, man, it took a lot of time. I
Mm-hmm.
think everybody had have to have that moment where you see things that contributes to you stagnate, to be stagnate, then saying, okay, this is the whole thing. This is what the problem is, and let me put in things that will contribute it to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Me go to classes more. Me do know, read my whole entire watch history to be way focused on what I'm doing, or completely just make a new account, just make a new password for the old one, and just forget about the old account, and focus yourself on what you want on the educational content that
Mm-hmm.
Glenn alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
All of that, just take note of that. Understand? But man, I swear it was a task. now I'm here now doing what I'm doing. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. My mindset is just more clear now. I don't have as much much stress as
Mm-hmm.
before. I don't have much things to stress about like that. Only thing that I just have to do is just execute. That's it. Just
Yeah.
execute. Yeah, just execute. Just do what you need to do. Of course, there will be setbacks and everything in life and everything, but then just execute. Execute. Which is a bit of a task for anybody going into the whole building of my mind of a mindset of scale and being success. It's a task. Understand? It's a bit of a task, but
And one way is still mastering.
we're still mastering to this day. Everything we're doing right now is literally a learning progress. Every single thing that we're doing right now, literally everything we're doing is just a learning process. Because we're not professionals. We're still teens. I'm 20. Glenn is 19.
We're getting
We're
there.
still young. It's not like we're 25, 24, done, trying to find our life or anything. We're still young. And now I'm just now entering my 20s. And imagine now I'm doing this, having a podcast, doing a business, doing this, doing that, doing a movie. All that at 20, just literally entering in my 20s. Glenn is soon to enter in his 20s. So.
Yep.
But for me, just about literally at the beginning of my 20s, I have all this to show. And the ability to take this and scale is only up from here. See, it's literally up from here. So
E-
really and truly
even if
happy where I'm at.
even if we're down, we're still up because we get to learn from those experiences.
And that's literally how it is. Literally how life's supposed to be. I sometimes I myself to blame of trying to prevent failure. It's something that it's it's really something that I even want to overcome as well. In trying to escape it, escape failure.
Hmm.
It yeah. If I know somebody gotten that message, to escape failure. You want to push on. You know you have things you want to do for the future. It's just things that are just working. You want to push on and push on and push on to try and get thing right to get it going so you can get some stuff other stuff done, but ends up failing. But
Hmm.
this process. But and do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I
How
think
do you
I've pretty much
execute?
said my freed so far.
Yeah, because I just what I was just about to say my whole life story, so I'm gonna just stop myself right there. Ah, brother.
You
Ah,
already one
brother.
whole hour in it, Jack. We
So
know.
yeah, I know it's been a while. Of course, we had that technical issues and all that in the big
Yep.
in the beginning and all that stuff. But hey, we have gone through all of this, so I'm happy. I'm happy. So
And we'll
guys,
only get better the next
I think
time.
it's time to end. Of course, this is the third episode, so we got way more content
Yep.
for you guys. Way more, way more. Also, I need you guys to comment but down below. Did you guys enjoy the 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 intro to the podcast today?
If you'll even make it to this
I
point.
told you guys last episode. I told you guys last episode. There's going to be a lot of things that's just going to be gradually put into the podcast. So
Hmm.
you gotta watch. You gotta watch the live stream. All my people on the distribution platforms, my Spotify's, my Google Plays, my Castbox. I think we have Castbox, right?
Yep. Yep.
I think we have Castbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all my audio people, all my audio listeners, you gotta watch the Facebook lives. You gotta watch them. You gotta watch them. So I think it's time to end, my boy. What a lovely podcast, man.
Definitely,
I
definitely.
really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I think we have given our thoughts on in a lot of areas, and I'm hoping that who is listening right now take what we say and just think. That's literally the entire message for
Think.
this podcast episode. Just think.
Just think.
Get in the mindset to think.
Yeah.
It goes back to the quote that I actually made up. Sit, look, it's the sit, look, think. It's something in that realm. I'm trying to remember it, but
Mm-hmm.
if you guys remember that episode where I gave him that quote, I think it was sit, look, think, plan. Yeah,
Sit, look, think, plan. Yeah.
that's literally what it. So that's literally the the ending message I have for you guys. Sit the mindset, sit in a comfort zone, look at the situations and all the things around you, think of what can be done, and then plan accordingly.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
with that,
And no hold back.
and with that,
Time to go.
we put the end.